Don't miss these signs. They might just be trying to tell you that you're having a spiritual awakening. I started my spiritual awakening journey about 2 years ago. I did not know any of the signs. I did not know what was happening. I low-key thought I had some sort of crazy depression, which I did have. Not going to take away from the fact that I did have depression. I was also like, am I a little tiny bit crazy? Because everything about who I kind of thought I was starting to shift and transform. I felt like I was a little bit on a runaway train and not knowing where I was going, but knowing that I was going exactly to the place I wanted to go. Anyways, I want to tell you the 7 signs I didn't even know were part of my spiritual awakening. The last 3 might just give you chills if you're experiencing it. I think you're going to be really happy to know that you are not alone. The first sign that you don't want to miss, I kind of alluded to it a little bit in the beginning of this video, is a sense of untangible happiness. So if you're kind of just feeling like you can't find your grounding in your happiness, you can't find an activity that's making you happy, activities that used to make you happy just aren't making you happy anymore, activities that should be making you happy aren't making you happy anymore, and you just don't know why, that could be a sign that you're starting your spiritual awakening. For me, the words I wrote in my journal at the very beginning of my spiritual awakening was, why do I feel so innately unhappy all the time? It's just how I actually felt. I couldn't really find a way to gather up my happiness like I used to be able to. That actually, as much as it was painful and as much as it was hard to go through, so if you are going through that, I feel you, and I want you to know you're not alone. On the other side of that, I have been able to find so much more meaning and so much more deep joy in my life. The second sign you don't want to miss that maybe you're having a spiritual awakening is a deep desire to be with your own thoughts. Maybe you're turning off the radio in the car and just listening to the sweet sound of silence. Maybe you find yourself going for walks or going to the gym or going for exercise, and where you used to put on music, now all of a sudden you want all of that music off and you just want to be alone with your thoughts. This desire to connect with yourself on a deeper level and to hear what you yourself is thinking is a very common early sign of a spiritual awakening. Connecting to yourself, connecting to your soul, connecting to your soul's purpose and your soul's desires. When you are inundated with all this noise all the time, you really can struggle to hear that voice inside of you speak and that voice inside of you guide you. The next one, don't miss this sign, you guys, the craving for simplicity. You might find you suddenly want everything in your house to be white, like you only want white coffee cups, white plates. For me, it was white everything. Finding more simplicity in my wardrobe, really just wanting to wear crew neck t-shirts all the time, preferably white if you haven't guessed it. Really this craving for just simplicity all around me all the time, simplicity in colors, in textures, and sort of what my senses were absorbing really led back to, it was giving me less to think about so I could spend more time listening to my thoughts, listening to my source energy sort of speaking to me, listening to my inner core guidance system talking to me. And by having less stuff, by having less things, by having less distractions, I was able to dedicate more time to the inner conversation. Number 4 was the first sign for me that I was having a spiritual awakening, and it was the biggest sign for me, and it completely shifted everything, and it shifted the game for me. I started waking up really early. So I started waking up between like 3:30 and 5:30 in the morning. I was just waking up naturally, like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to go. I would toss and turn in bed and try to force myself to go back to sleep. Finally, I just gave up on that because there was no going back to sleep. I was wide awake and it was super annoying. I found out later is actually a big sign that you are having your spiritual awakening or that you're starting your spiritual awakening journey. Now that I know this and waking up early, oh my gosh, it is something that I just love and something that I just cherish and something that I know has brought me so many benefits because I'm able to manifest faster, I'm able to create the life that I truly crave so much faster, build the relationships that I want so much faster. I could go on forever. Look, if that is you, if you are struggling between like 4 and 5 in the morning, tossing and turning, and you are wide awake, that is probably your spirit, your inner guidance system, that core shift that's taking place wanting you to get up out of bed and spend some of that quality one-on-one time with yourself, listening for internal guidance. There's this famous Rumi quote that says, "The morning breeze has secrets to tell you, don't go back to sleep." I heard that quote very early in my spiritual journey, and when I would have that wake-up call, I would repeat that sentence to myself. I would intentionally get out of bed, trying to search for what those morning secrets were that had to tell me. Flash forward 2 years, I now have 2 amazing YouTube channels that I love. I have clients on YouTube. I get to do this creative outlet that I never would have dreamed possible for me. The secrets that the morning breeze, I think, told me was that I needed to be a YouTuber. Being a YouTuber and creating my business online was going to bring me so much abundance, not just financially, but also in happiness. Which brings me to number 5. When you are waking up or you're having that 4:30 wake up call, you're going to start to notice really quickly that you are waking up with purpose. It's almost like you're being pushed out of a dream, like a door is opening and bam, you are awake. Waking up like you have something to do. That, I think, is one of the real true signs that you are starting to have your spiritual awakening. Answer that call of purpose and do something creative that is just for you. It might help you to start uncover the message of what that purpose is for you. We are getting deeper into these don't miss signs that you might be having a spiritual awakening. So these ones are a little bit more advanced, and drop me an emoji down below in the comment box if this starts to tingle your spine or give you little goosebumps like my intuition is telling me that it's going to. One of the big signs is that you are waking up like your dreams had something they were telling you. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna know what your dreams were telling you or know what that message was that was really trying to be given to you in your sleep, but you're waking up with this sort of like, I'm supposed to remember something. For me, it feels very much like I'm supposed to remember something that my higher self was trying to tell me while I was asleep. What was it? So it's this kind of like, I'm really being told and really given messages when I'm asleep. I can see myself in my dreams talking to my higher self or talking to source or talking to my future self, my future ideal self that I'm trying to manifest and create this perfect life that I crave. I can feel myself having these conversations with that higher self in my dreams and waking up really conscious of the fact that I'm supposed to remember something from my dreams, which then of course I get out of bed and I journal and I try to like get deeper and connect with that memory. But if you're having these sort of these memories or these impressions that there was something really important that you were told while you were sleeping, that's probably a good sign that your higher self or your core self or your ideal self is trying to push you forward in the time that you're in to lean more into your spiritual awakening and the life that you're supposed to be creating for yourself. And that brings me to my last don't miss sign of your spiritual awakening. It is a sense of shifting faster in your manifestations or just in who you are becoming. So you start to really be able to sense there is an ideal self or an ideal reality or a source energy that you're connecting with, somewhere where there's this version of you that you would more love to be. I like to say it in creating that ideal life that I absolutely crave for myself and I know I deserve. So you start to feel the space between where you are and that ideal life that you're trying to create, and you're able to shift into that ideal reality faster, and you're able to let go of sort of the fear or the resistance that they're not going to show up and really relax into this idea that of course it's going to show up, of course it's meant for me, of course all good things are supposed to be happening for me. You really just feel this relaxed sense of creation that you are able to make the future that you desire actually happen, and you're actually able to make it happen faster and faster and faster as the days go on. I hope that this conversation resonated with you. So much joy and so much success in your spiritual awakening. I know that there's going to be times that are difficult, but you're not alone. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. I am going to be sharing so many amazing meditations, so many amazing journal prompts, so many more stories of my own journey of personal awakening and creating my ideal life. And I want to share all of that with you and encourage you to step into the life that you crave. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you again soon.